The future of Halo is in peril, multiple projects canceled, and the Halo 2 and 3 remakes are in jeopardy on the week of the Halo Campaign Evolved release. Over this weekend, there was this rumor, I'll call it, that there's been turmoil in Halo Studios with the future of Halo, in that there is no new Halo game in development after the cancellation of their Battle Royale extraction mode Big Shooter. Wanted to talk about this because I don't fully believe it. Now, if this was someone like Jason Schreier or some of the other very credible journalists in the gaming industry, we know it's 100% true, right? They don't go on record with reports that are anything less than 100% factual and confirmed. So this rumor, we'll call it, report says that there was a roadmap of an upcoming 3 games in 3 years, beginning with the Campaign Evolved remake. And Project Occur and a new campaign were meant to release during this 3-year window, but has been canceled. And apparently Occur, which was rumored to be the extraction mode, became a Warzone super big team game. And then they came back and made it a Battle Royale before canceling it again. There was rumors that it was going to be an extraction shooter. We'll come back to that Warzone part here in a minute. And that the big one is that Halo Studios has no campaign or multiplayer game currently in development. This is the part that I find to be extremely dubious and hard to believe. And then apparently they're trying to quickly throw a concept together, all at the same time that the Halo 2 and 3 remakes are not are in question if they're going to be developed, right? The other part of this was that Occur was meant to soft launch or be revealed at Halo Fest this year, but it isn't anymore. And Halo Fest is scheduled for December of this year. So this happened yesterday, and then just not too long ago, Halo Leaks, who has been pretty on the nose with Halo information over recent years, had this put up that the Occur project was always going to be a side project at Halo Studios rather than a primary focus. It's not intended to be the next Halo multiplayer mainline title, and it was designed as a side mode for Halo's multiplayer. It's only covering part of the truth, right? The future of Halo's multiplayer is still planned to be announced at Halo Fest unless specified otherwise. And then there's some back and forth with the original, quote unquote source getting bent out of shape about it and, becoming insulting. Now, here's the big thing on this. Of course, I have no inside information. I'm just looking at things kind of logically as a fan and, following Halo over 3 decades of my life, right? What we do know, right, is that Halo Infinite announced back in the winter of 2024 they were moving on to new projects and were not going to be releasing any more operations. Now, that was sort of true because they had the last Halo Infinite update and some releases of the Forge modes, the PvE boss rush mode here this past last 6 to 9 months. So we then know that the sort of Unreal reveal was at HCS back in October of 2024. And that let everybody know, right? Like, hey, there's a CE remake coming, and that was eventually realized it's releasing this week. So, based on what we know timeline-wise there, right? And this Tatanka Occur project has been rumored for a few years now, dating back to, 2023. We've had rumors that, yeah, it's for sure coming out, that it's been canceled, that it's an extraction shooter, a Battle Royale, a Super Warzone mode. That's where I think the truth in this, quote-unquote report lies, is that this big project Occur, Tatanka, might have become one, might not have, has indeed been shelved and canceled, right? And to me, I think that makes a lot of sense given the history of more trend-chasing shooters here in recent memory that have tried to go after that Battle Royale, extraction, PvEVP type of thing and have pretty much failed at doing that, outside of our creators. So that part I find true. I think that once the management turnover with Halo Studios saw like, hey, bigger trend chasing studios games are just not working out. Let's put this side project just to bed and focus on the future, which is the CE remake and some more remakes and probably a Halo mainline title that it will likely be revealed in December in Halo Fest, like Halo Leaks is saying. That makes the most sense. Now, the other part of this report about projects being canceled and there being no Halo games in development, I find that to be extremely hard to believe for a few reasons. One, and these are kind of related, but one, going back to HCS last year before Asha Sharma took over with Xbox, we know that they announced that the HCS is returning. We also know that their entire pro team is still on the staff, right? Like Richie Hines is still there. All these guys that are responsible for the core arena competitive settings for their esport are still employed at Halo Studios. Tashi, the guy that runs it, has openly said like, "Hey, HCS is coming back," and that they're still there at Halo Studios. Why would you keep a team dedicated to your core esport and arena modes and competitive settings this long if you don't have something in development and if things have like been canceled and there's no future and we're looking at 2, 3, 4, who knows how many years before we have the next mainline Halo game? That just doesn't make sense. And somewhat related to this is the new regime at Xbox, right? Asha Sharma coming in and announcing the Xbox reset, publicly announcing that she is wanting to have Xbox focus on their big name titles, the Bethesda games and Gears of War and Halo, of course. And then we have all of these layoffs with studios that are currently not having anything in development. So I also find it a stretch that we would have had no layoffs at Halo Studios if they had nothing in development and all of this is in flux and they're scrambling to put together a concept for something. I find it hard to believe that they would keep that size of a studio and personnel working on competitive settings in HCS if there's nothing in development for the next mainline Halo game, let alone the next, Halo main title game being this Project Occur as its multiplayer. It's a stretch. It's hard to believe. Now, that said, there are some elements of truth in here that I do believe, right? Do I believe that it took all hands on deck to finish Campaign Evolved? Yeah, probably. We know how things go in game development world these days, and you've got a new engine there with the Unreal Engine on top of the Reach engine and the Blam engine remnants still going on. It probably took a lot of work to get that out the door and ready to ship this summer. That said, it's entirely possible also that they had development going on at the same time with the online Halo or the ongoing mainline Halo game currently. So I find it hard to believe, though, that there's just no Halo game in development that is not going to be announced soon, given the fact that their entire staff remains. The staff that is there is still focused and working exclusively on the arena HCS side of things. There's been no layoffs there that we know of. And if there had been, that definitely would have been a story that would have broken by some of the big name gaming journalists that never miss. So I find that part very hard to believe. What I do see here and is not just this situation, but a bigger thing in the game industry now this summer with the layoffs and especially things surrounding Xbox, right? We saw all of these leaks and rumors and confirmations that Xbox was closing so many studios that, Compulsion Games and Double Fine and all these were going to be sold, and that ended up not being true. There's a lot of just doom and gloom sort of stories going around here that are not based in reality or anything that is actually being said or confirmed from sources. So a story as big as Halo has no game in development here as the Xbox regime turns over and is making public statements that we're focused on our core titles would be a huge story, right? Jason Schreier or, Jez Corden or some of the other big name journalists would be all over that, or at least have some rumblings of that going on. So what And we also saw it like with id Software, right? Like, oh man, id Software has been gutted. They're nothing but a support studio now. And then we have Hugo Martin come on stream just a few days ago and flat out say, no, we still have a team. We still have support for id Tech. We're still making games and looking for the next Doom title, right? So until we see anything otherwise from Halo Studios or Xbox, I don't believe this. It's the week of Campaign Evolved being released. You know, we had the report from the same person talking about the studio head being verbally abusive and toxic in the workplace. That hasn't been corroborated by anyone else. And of course, right, the internet is quick to jump on this. We see, oh, Halo is doomed. There's no future. This is awful. Fire everyone, blah, 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 blah. So, we've seen just in recent history, hey, here's the confirmed rumor or leak that is going to be happening, only for that to not actually happen or be realized. So, Campaign Evolved comes out. Halo is sure to be in the news cycles this week. I get it, right? You want to get the story out there, if it is a story. And there, like I said, there's some elements of truth here, but I find it hard to believe the whole thing. What I do expect is Campaign Evolved to launch later this week in the pre-access and early next week and do well. I expect it to sell well. I just saw the other day it's like number 2 pre-ordered game on PlayStation behind Grand Theft Auto. So do I think that game is going to sell well? Yeah. Is it going to be a huge selling game? No. Again, it's a second remake of Campaign Evolved, of Combat Evolved. I think it's going to do well. I think it's going to show promise for future Halo remakes such as 2 and 3. Will they be exclusive? Will they not? I don't know. We'll see. I do think that there is going to be an announcement of some new Halo title or project in December at Halo Fest. They've been building it up and kind of giving the sense that is probably going to happen. What I wish would happen, though, is for Halo Studios to give us sort of a roadmap. This report said there was a roadmap. There hasn't been a formal announcement of a roadmap or anything outside of Campaign Evolved. I think if Halo Studios could just do that, and they very well might have some plans of some form to do that in December at Halo Fest. So that would ease a lot of people's consciousness, especially in this time with layoffs and uncertainty with Xbox. So a lot of things lining up here to make this, hey, Halo has had a bunch of canceled projects. There's no game in development. We're scrambling to get one. Seem to be a far-fetched story. Could be wrong. That could be confirmed later. If so, cool. If not, I think it's probably a good example of just cautioning, throwing our belief behind rumors and leaks unless they are behind substantive sources and confirmations. So I'm looking forward to getting my hands on Campaign Evolved later this week. Going to be playing on PC, mouse and keyboard. It's going to be fun. It looks really good. I hope it's technically sound at launch, right? When you think about the last 12 years now of Halo games. We've had MCC, which was very much a mess at launch, and then eventually relaunched to some success. Halo 5 that came out, which was technically sound, but content incomplete and a little divisive. And then there was that long wait for Halo Infinite that launched content incomplete. It was technically not sound at launch and had many delays from that seasonality that never really took off for almost 2 years. Yeah, so it's been a long 12 years to be Halo fans. I get the pessimism and knee-jerk reactions to fall into that pessimism without, seeing the realization of the plans here. So at least right now, the way I'm looking at it is Campaign Evolved is coming out this week. Can't wait. Looks awesome. And if you are a Halo fan in the community, I would, look forward to that and be cautiously optimistic about the future here, especially moving into December and Halo Fest to see what's to come. So that's just the news this week. I think it was just a microcosm of all of the gaming leaks and rumors and knee-jerk reactions here. So we'll definitely see. I'm hopeful for the future of the Halo franchise, just based on everything I said, from the current studio composition that we know of, the Xbox reset with Asha Sharma, her changes wanting to focus on the big studios, and Campaign Evolved coming out this week. I think if it launches, it is technically sound, no issues at launch, and it sells well, then we could be looking at hitting the reset button. And I know that's what Halo Studios would definitely want with the transition from 343 to that new name. So yeah, looking forward to it. Let me know what you think about these rumors. If you're watching this, let me know. Let me know what you think is happening, what you hope to see, and yeah, let's all journey back to Alpha Halo here later this week.